All right, let's get right into it. The Google Pixel 10 is here, and you guessed it, the big story is all about AI. But is this new AI actually smart enough to feel like magic? Or is it, as one reviewer put it, kinda spooky? We're gonna break down the Independence review to see what's really going on with Google's latest phone. So this is the headline that really set the tone. It framed the whole conversation around this idea of a phone that's not just new, but proactive, maybe even a little psychic. So what in the world is this spooky feature they're talking about? Before we get to all the AI wizardry, we got to talk about the phone itself. And this is where things get interesting, because you've got this tension between an outside that feels very familiar and an inside that's promising to be something totally different. And why is that? Well, the review puts it pretty bluntly. If you've seen a Pixel 9, you've seen a Pixel 10. The design is nearly identical. Now, that's not a knock against it. It's still a super premium, well-built phone with that great soft-touch glass on the back that apparently doesn't pick up any fingerprints. So a solid foundation for sure, just not a radical new look. But that familiar look is hiding the real upgrade. We're talking about the Tensor G5 chip. This is Google's own custom-built brain for the phone, and it's designed to do all the heavy AI lifting right there on the device without having to phone home to the cloud all the time. This is the engine that's supposed to power all the magic. And that brings us to the main event, the futuristic AI features that Google is promising. There are two big ones that really stand out in this review. One for how you message, and one for how you take pictures. Okay, first up is something called Magic Queue. The whole idea here is that your phone should be smart enough to anticipate what you need. It looks at the context of your conversations, pulls in info from your other apps, and tries to help you out before you even think to ask. So here's the example they give. Imagine a friend texts you, "Hey, where and when are we meeting?" Instead of you having to jump over to your calendar or search your email, Magic Queue is supposed to do that for you. And poof, the correct info just appears as a suggested reply. When it works, the reviewer says it feels genuinely useful. Pretty impressive stuff. But the on-device AI isn't just for typing. Nope. Google is also applying some seriously mind-bending power to its camera, especially when you start to zoom in. Okay, check this out. The Pixel 10 Pro has this new 100x Pro zoom. On the left, you've got a perfectly normal 5x zoom shot of a cat. But on the right, that is the same cat at 100x zoom. I mean, the level of detail that AI is creating here is just, wow. It's kind of shocking. And that's the key phrase from the reviewer, literally too good to be true. It's an incredible technical trick for sure, but it also makes you wonder, what am I actually looking at in that photo? All right, so after that big wow moment, you know what comes next? The fine print. How do these futuristic features actually hold up when you're using them in the real world? It's the question you always have to ask when technology seems this magical, right? For all the cool demos, are there some big limitations we need to know about? Well, yes. And here they are, the two big catches. That spooky smart assistant, Magic Queue, turns out it only works inside Google's own Messages app. And that incredible 100x zoom, the reviewer calls the detail it creates semi-fictional. Let's break that down. So this is the real killer for Magic Queue. The reviewer points out that, like for most of us, their conversations are all happening on other platforms. So this amazing flagship AI feature just sits there, frustratingly dormant, locked away in an app that most people just don't use day to day. And that semi-fictional zoom? That's because the AI is essentially inventing detail. It's painting in sharpness that the camera lens physically can't see. So while it's fun for grabbing a shot of a faraway building, the reviewer says you'd probably feel a little weird sharing these pictures as if they were 100% real. So if the big headline AI features come with these giant asterisks next to them, what about the rest of the phone? Is it a one-trick pony, or are there other real upgrades here? And the answer is a big yes. There are a ton of other welcome improvements. You've got a new magnetic charging system called Pixelsnap, which works with MagSafe stuff. The speakers sound way better. The fingerprint sensor is faster. The screen is brighter. These are those little practical tweaks that just add up to make the whole experience feel more polished. And this is a big deal. For the first time ever, the cheaper, standard Pixel 10 is getting its own dedicated telephoto lens. that closes a huge gap between the regular model and the Pro models, and it makes the base version a much, much more compelling phone for most people. Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got some incredible but limited AI features, a familiar design, and a bunch of really solid hardware improvements. So the big question, who should actually buy this phone? First things first, let's be clear. Despite all the asterisks, the reviewer concludes that this thing is beautifully designed, a joy to use, and still has a best-in-class camera. It is, quote, the best phone Google has ever made. But, and this is a big but, that high praise comes with a split recommendation. If you're using a Pixel 8 or something older, or maybe you're switching from a different brand, the reviewer says it's an easy yes. But for anyone who just bought last year's Pixel 9, it's a much tougher sell. And the reason is pretty simple. At the end of the day, this is more of an iterative update than a revolutionary one. And more importantly, a lot of what makes the Pixel 10 feel so new is the software, Android 16. And that's going to come as a free update to older Pixels, including the 9, anyway. So that leaves us with this one big question to chew on. As AI gets more and more baked into our cameras, what does a photograph even mean anymore? You know, when a phone is inventing details to make an image look better, where do we draw the line between capturing reality and creating it? It's a fascinating question, and one we're going to be asking for a while.